everyone, hope you're all doing well. Sorry for the noise, I'm kind of outside right now. Today is technically setup day for shipshewana Valporaiso, but since my setup is so short, I'm going to be able to set up tomorrow morning. So it's currently Friday. Today has been a day. Got blood taken for some medical things this morning, packed my whole car up last night, bringing it down a flight of stairs, then repacked everything in my car into another car, and now we're going to go to a funeral after this. It's been kind of a crazy day, crazy start to the weekend, but hopefully that it will be good at Shipshewana. It's the car. We have her all packed up, not sponsored by Cancel Science, but there she is. There's all my personal stuff, all of that, and then all in the back. I have some dollies too that I'm really excited to use, and just a bunch. If I open up the back, I'm just afraid everything will fall out, so I'll see you at Shipshewana. Good morning. It's currently around 6:30 in the morning, and my throat was kind of shot. I don't even know why. We went to that viewing or wake or whatever yesterday. I didn't even talk that much because honestly I was saving all my energy for today, but my throat is pretty shot and I kind of have a runny nose, and it's just been a perpetual thing that's been going on and off for me for a while now, and I don't know why. So it's definitely not a good start, but I'm gonna do my makeup, drink some water, eat some food, and I will meet you at the convention hall. Okay, I'm at the expo center. Hopefully you can hear me pretty well, but I'm here and I'm kind of freaking out because I forgot the key to my lockbox, which has my Square card reader in it and all of my money. So I'm kind of freaking out. My stomach doesn't feel the best, but I'll show you the booth setup. Okay, so this is what the back looks like. Plus all of this in the back. I have some extra candles and scrunchies in there. And then from the front it looks like this. My very locked lockbox. So cute. But yeah. This is what it looks like. I still have to put up another sign and do some other stuff because I don't have signs for my crochet stuff because I did not think I'd be bringing it, but here I am. So I'll have to figure out something to put up for that, but I'm less freaking out now because my boyfriend and I looked it up on the internet, and we can try to unlock the box. I'm just nervous, just in general, so it doesn't make my stomach feel the best. But anyways, it's currently 10:30, and this started at 9, and I still haven't made a single sale. It kind of sucks because across from me there are 2 candle vendors selling candles, soy candles too, so it kind of sucks. But the traffic is pretty good. But yeah, I just haven't made a sale yet, so my booth still looks the same. It's a little discouraging, but we'll see. Okay, hello. It is around 1:10 p.m. and I made a couple of sales so far. The traffic has definitely slowed down from the morning, but it's still pretty consistent, pretty steady. I've had a lot of good conversations with people, and I just put out some prototype candles too. So some different scents that are just one-offs. So I'll show you those. A lot of comments on the Starmost. People seem to really love them. Same thing with the apple hats. Gotten a little, those are so cute. Those are so nice. So really encouraging. I'm giving away so many business cards though. So many. It's been kind of crazy. Hello everyone, I'm here to do a recap on Shipshewana on the road, Valporaiso. If you can stand to hear my voice like this, I really appreciate it if you could stick around, but if not, I totally understand. So I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of my life until leading up to that point, like you saw in the video clips. So Friday, I went to a celebration of life, and then at around 9 o'clock drove up to Valporaiso. If you don't know where Valporaiso, Indiana is, and you've ever been to Indiana, you've probably been for one of 2 reasons. You've probably been to Brown County, or you've been to the Indiana State Dunes. Valporaiso is about 20 minutes away from the Indiana State Dunes. So it's really close up there. It's very close to Chicago, that sort of area up there.
So we went up there around 10. I had to set up in the morning. I had to be there at 7:30 in the morning to set up because I did not set up Friday night. My setup does not take that long, so it was totally fine. We were at the Porter County Fairgrounds in Valporaiso, Indiana, and the way that the fairgrounds is set up is that there are 3 buildings. There's 2 big main ones, and then their third one, which is a 4-H building, and they're all connected by these shoddy little, metal hallways that connect each one of them to the next. So, and I was placed in the 3rd building in the very back wall, second to last booth on this back wall. And so I get there in the morning and I start setting up. And one of the vendors walks in that is very close to me, like directly like catty corner to me, and she is kind of freaking out because right beside her, directly beside her is a candle vendor, and she is a candle vendor. And I was like, oh crap, I'm a candle vendor, and I'm right across from the woman who is beside her. So like this little tiny L formation, there are 3 candle vendors right there. Come to find out that there were 4 candle vendors in that building. One was placed in some far off corner while the 3 of us were clustered together. Now I got mixed reviews whether or not there were other candle vendors. I heard that there was 1 candle vendor for each of the other buildings, and I also heard that there was none. So take that with a grain of salt. But in building 3, that is where 4 candle vendors were, and 3 of them were placed by each other. We were all pretty mad because that impacts all of our sales, and I feel like it's one of the reasons why I didn't personally make a sale until 3 hours into the show, because I was by these other candle vendors and they had other products that were cheaper than mine. Or I have a lot of products. I have candles, I had my crochet stuff, I have bookmarks and scrunchies. So I had a little bit more diversity of product. And so if somebody didn't want 1 candle thing or 1 scented thing, then I had no other thing for them. While one of the other candle vendors had like car air fresheners. Another one had reed diffusers and wax melts and stuff like that. But I haven't diversified just solely in the scent area. I've diversified just in my brand as a whole in everything that I like. I didn't make a sale until about 3 hours in, which is very discouraging, very, very discouraging, because there was hundreds of people walking by me. Like huge clusters of people would just go by, not even take a second glance at my booth, and just keep walking on to the Ben's Pretzels down the hall. It was very discouraging, and it seemed like not a lot of the vendors were making like a lot of sales, except as they were a food vendor. Now, I can only speak from my personal experience, but I didn't even make back the table fee on the very first day. Now, the table fee was $185, and I thought that this fee was justifiable based on the research that I had done online and the video cam footage that they had put up on YouTube showing how many people, had gone to this one show, and like, look at all these people coming in and how many vendors that they had and how many years that they've been doing it. I was like, oh, so they're very reputable. They definitely know what they're doing. But I think I heard that it used to be run by somebody else. It's currently run by a guy named Greg. I heard that it used to be run by somebody else. I haven't confirmed that fact for myself, but it is definitely not what it's not what I was told that it was going to be. I was told that it was a lot of handmade stuff, a lot of small businesses trying to sell their goods to people, and it is not. The building that I was in, that was where a very large majority of the handmade stuff was. But there were still places like Anderson Renewal. And if you've never heard of Anderson, they do windows and door replacements, and they put into your home. There were, bathroom remodeling places, like right beside me. There was, just like other, gimmicky little giveaway things. So that was day 1. And by the end of day 1, I had not made my table fee back. I think I was about $50 away from making my table fee back, and I had made a total of 8 sales. And the show on Saturday ran from 9 to 5. So I made technically 1 sale per hour. Now, some of these sales were one candle, which is regular, like a 6-ounce candle, which is $18. Or it was one bookmark, which is $4, or a scrunchie, which is $6. Now, I am not shaming anybody who bought from me. I'm extremely grateful. I'm very, very happy. I think the main factor is that I was placed by 2 other candle vendors right across from me that had different prices on their products and just had different products, scent products in general. So I think that that was a main factor in the reason why, I didn't get the sales that I was hoping or that I thought I was going to get. So that night we go home. I'm a little disappointed. I honestly felt like a failure the whole weekend because I was like, oh my god, I thought I was going to do so much better. Like, I thought this was going to be my money maker. And it's going to be a struggle tomorrow, I feel like. Because, the second day, the Sunday is always slower. I was like, I thought this was going to be my money maker, but I think it's going to be my fucking money breaker. I was very sad and I felt like a failure. That night, I went home, at the place we were staying, and I ate this pasta salad that I had made. And this pasta salad, super good. I eat it all the time. It has goat cheese in it, and like spinach, and obviously pasta, and a Greek vinaigrette, and cherry tomatoes. So I eat this pasta salad, whatever. I start to go to bed, and I start having really bad cold flashes, like to the point where my body is shaking and I cannot get it to stop, like shivering really, really bad, and then going into really, really hot spells. And this has happened to me once before when I had salmonella poisoning, which if you don't know, is food poisoning by chicken. So I started to have this super bad reaction. And I think it was because of this pasta salad, specifically because this pasta salad, like I said, on Friday we had gone to this celebration of life. This pasta salad had sat in the car for the entire 3 or 4 hours we were there. And then we drove up to, Valparaiso. It took 2.5 hours. And then after all that, so it had been sitting out for more than likely 6 hours or so. And then I just popped it in the fridge and ate a bunch of it like it was no big deal. So Sunday, I had extremely bad food poisoning. My boyfriend and his brother were like, okay, we'll go to the convention hall and see if we can just, essentially sit at your booth, sell as much stuff as we can until we get to the point of just making your table fee back. They had to go talk to Greg about it. And Greg told him, no, you can't do that. And you can't leave early either. You cannot pack up whatsoever, or I will charge you 50% of what the booth fee is. Now, 50% of what the booth fee is $92.50. So not only would I have been out, essentially, my rest of my $50, getting to the $185, but now I would have been out another $92. From that point, if they would have left, or if I could have completely it would have been me only, and I'd not shown up, he would have charged me $92 because I had food poisoning. Okay, I think that is a little ridiculous. I understand you don't want people to leave early, but they were threatening to charge people this fine if they left the show even 10 minutes early, like on Saturday, and they found out that they did this. I think that that's a little ridiculous, in my personal opinion. An act of God, as you will call it, happened to me. So, whatever. They stay the entire time. On Sunday, it is 10 to 4. They stay the entire time. They make my table fee back, plus a little change, I think maybe $40. So all in all, I spent $185 to make probably $40 or $50. It was just not worth it, at all. And I just don't think it was a very profitable weekend, to be honest, for a lot of people who were surrounding me. My boyfriend, on the second day, walked around the convention hall, went to the couple of the other buildings, and took pictures for me, which I will put up on the screen now. He said that he saw one booth selling puppies, and it smelled horrible. He saw another booth just selling random gizmos and gadgets for phones. He saw some Amish seasonings and being sold, like CBD stuff being sold. I personally saw like little dressing packets where you just add water or milk to it being sold. I did see like a crochet booth. I was strictly for crochet, like little crochet like potted plants. And I saw one of those like junky little cell phone places as well. Now I'm not hating on anybody's business, but you see the stuff that we were seeing, and my boyfriend said it best, is the stuff that you see at flea markets. Now what I was told is that Shipshewana on the road is a handmade show. You go there for small businesses and handmade products. That's what you go there for. That's what the majority of things that are there for. And that is not the case. The building that I was in, like 90%, or even maybe a little bit more than that, was definitely where they had put all the handmade stuff, as much as they could, and then they spread maybe a couple of little places into the other two buildings, but that was it. It was all right where we were. And Shipshewana, from my experience, is not a place to go for handmade anymore. And I would not recommend it to anybody who has a business like mine, or anybody trying to sell just really niche down, I guess you could say, handmade goods, or just handmade goods in general, to be honest, if they're not at a cheap price. Okay, because people at this show were looking for a deal. They were looking for a steal. Now, that's not everybody. Some people were there to look for handmade products. Some people were there just to, like, look around, and they ended up buying products from me, which I am extremely grateful for, and I'm so happy. And my lack of sales was not for my lack of trying. I probably gave out the first day maybe 50 or 60 business cards. I kid you not. Everybody who stopped by, everybody who took a glance at my stuff, even if they didn't talk to me, even though I was talking to them, I gave them all a business card. Every single person got a business card from me. So it was not for a lack of trying, and it wasn't for a lack of not marketing myself. This show was just not profitable because it was just not my target demographic. It was just not like how the show had been described to me by people who had done it in previous years. So that just shows me that the show has completely changed. So, the audience was probably people in their mid to late 30s and 40s, and then probably from late 50s to early 60s to mid 60s. You know, I had some people, when I would describe my non-toxic candles and how they're non-toxic, one guy told me that he likes to burn coal, and just looked at me like, why do I care about if your candles are phthalate and paraben free? I like to burn coal, so I don't really care. I asked one woman if she wanted to smoke candles, and she told me no, because she didn't want her house smelling good, because that meant her children, who are already staying there with their children, would never move out of her house and pay their own rent. So she didn't want to smell my candles because she didn't want her house smelling good. And then proceeded to walk over to one of the other candle booths and smell a large majority of their candles. I thought that was funny. And no shade to these people either. Completely fine. You don't want to buy from my print. That is completely okay. And you get that at shows. You know, people would just be mean for absolutely no reason. But to sum it all up, I don't think I will ever do a Shipshewana show again unless they completely change their ways. It is like Etsy going from a handmade marketplace to allowing drop shippers on their platform. That's what Shipshewana is like. Like, that is the literal, it went the same trajectory. It used to be more handmade, and now it's just literal drop shippers and people who are just selling flea market junk. Like, it is just not good. I would not recommend it. It is not worth your $185. At least the Valporaiso show that I went to was not worth $185. Because all they're doing is providing you a booth space. That is it. And if you need electricity, That is it. They are not providing you anything else. They do a lot of advertising for the show. But I could truly ask you, where do they do this set advertising? I know they go on TV and stuff, but I've never in my life seen a Shipshewana on the road ad on my local news station. I've never seen their social medias before. I never even heard of them before I looked it up to look for shows. And it's just very disappointing because they do come through Indiana in the springtime and the fall time. And they are one of the only shows really in Indiana, like a big show in Indiana that comes through, except for the Comic-Con that happens in March in Indianapolis. And I'm definitely not ready for a Comic-Con, let alone have stuff for a Comic-Con. So it's just a bunch of small shows. This is like the only big thing, and it was just severely disappointing. Like, extremely disappointing. Oh yeah, I forgot to say too, random tidbit, but I locked myself out of my lockbox, like my cash box. I left my keys here in my house, and I mean, it didn't really matter because I only made 8 sales the first day, and I had a bunch of cash in my wallet instead of my boyfriend's, so we just scrounged that up together, and then he went and broke down some of my 20s at a Walmart to make them all into $1 bills. And so we were fine, and I could still use, and my little square adapter that you put into your phone was in the lockbox, but you can still do tap and like Apple Pay and shit on your phone with Square. And most of all cards have the tap option now. Like, I didn't have to turn away a single person at all. So that was pretty good. So yeah, it was just overall a very disappointing show, and I would not recommend it, and I don't think I will ever go back. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to me like this. I hope I can come at you next time with a more positive video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.